Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this Planning Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire Council on the 12th of August 2025. We'll start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present and emerging. Please be advised that this Planning Committee meeting is recorded and live streamed, with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open planning committee meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. We'll move on now to all those that are present. I note that the sixth council is present, with Councillor Buchanan is an apology. He's unwell. Move on to the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on the 8th of July 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Howard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. He's carried 6-0. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? There are not. We now move on to item 4. The first item on the agenda of the Planning Committee meeting is 378, 386 Murray Street, Colac, construction of a convenience restaurant, Hungry Jack's signage and alteration of access. Questions of officers? I have a question. The conditions around Murray Street and the intersection of Murray and Armstrong, who is the responsible authority and makes the assessment around those conditions on this permit? Thank you.
Through you, Mayor, as part of the assessment of this application, we were required to refer the application to the Department of Transport and Planning, because Murray Street is an arterial road and the Department of Transport and Planning is the responsible authority for that road. You will see that there are conditions that have been required to be imposed by the Department of Transport and Planning within the recommendation. So as part of the assessment of the proposal, the application was referred both to the Department of Transport and Planning and to our infrastructure department to look at access onto the site, egress from the site, and the intersection of Murray Street and Armstrong Street. The feedback we had, including from the Department of Transport and Planning, with whom there was a site meeting, was that the existing intersection is acceptable. Doesn't require an upgrade, and the conditions within the recommendation are those that were required by the Department of Transport and Planning.
Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. There are a number of submissions and objections to this application. Some are around fencing heights, lighting, operation hours and so forth. Have these issues been addressed in any way? And if they have, can you outline what changes have been made just for the community, please?
Through you, Mayor. As part of the assessment of the application, we liaised with the applicant about the concerns that were raised by the community. As a result of that, acoustic fencing has been proposed along the southern and eastern boundaries. In addition, some fencing is at a higher level where headlights would be going through the drive-through at the ordering point. So those were specifically proposed to address concerns raised by the community. The applicant also has advised that the hours would not be 24/7, with shutting at midnight proposed. However, this application is not to use the land for the purpose of the convenient restaurant. It's a use that's as of right within this zone, so we can't actually impose a condition to that effect, but the applicant has again listened to the community and said that the intended opening hours and delivery hours would try and address local community concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor have any questions of officers? No? In that case, I'd like to move a motion, if I can. I'd like to move a motion in two parts. So part A is the officer recommendation inclusive of the permit conditions as it reads. And part B, I'll have to read it out, but part B of the motion will be that the Chief Executive Officer writes to the Secretary of the Department of Transport and Planning and the relevant ministers for transport, planning and road safety regarding the following. 1. The failure of the Department of Transport and Planning to require conditions to be imposed on the planning permit PP 205/2024-1, 378 to 386 Murray Street, Colac, construction of a convenience restaurant, Hungry Jack's signage and alteration of access, requiring safety upgrades to the intersection of Murray Street and Armstrong Street, Colac. Point 2, the lack of regard from the Department of Transport and Planning to the concerns expressed by both the community and council regarding safety issues and the perceived need for upgrades to the intersection of Murray Street and Armstrong Street, Colac. Point 3, the lack of regard to local knowledge about the known dangers associated with the intersection of Murray Street and Armstrong Street, Colac, and the increased risk that additional traffic movements from the proposed Hungry Jack's development will cause at this intersection. Point 4, the continued frustration from the community and council at the lack of consideration by the Department of Transport and Planning about the Murray Street and Armstrong Street Colac intersection, even following an on-site meeting between council and the department. Point 5, requests the Department of Transport complete a review after 6 months of trading by Hungry Jack's of the traffic data, traffic statistics and community feedback. That's it. I have a seconder.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Yeah, seconded Councillor Potter. I guess as the mover, Hungry Jack's on the planning side of things, there was a number of concerns from the community and they've worked actively to address a lot of those concerns, particularly around vehicle movements with the light signs, the height of the fences and things around there, and have been waiting patiently for this application to be decided upon. I think they've worked well with the community. Never going to please everyone. It's probably a fact on most items that this council decides on. But in terms of the second part, and we will vote on that separately, is to send a message to our community that we have listened as a council and understand the concerns of the intersection of Murray and Armstrong Street. There was a petition about 5 or 6 years ago that garnered over 5,000 signatures about the dangers of that intersection. And whilst we are not the deciding or the responsible authority for the conditions in the permit there, we need to send a message to the Department of Transport that we're not happy, and also our community that we understand and we've listened as a council to the concerns. In terms of how that relates back to the planning, I'm supporting the application because it fits in with the planning scheme and it's in a commercial zone, and there's no reason to vote against it, in my opinion, now that a lot of the concerns have been resolved. But but yeah, just sending a clear message to the Department of Transport that that the intersection is dangerous and should have required some form of safety improvements for vehicle movements and pedestrian movements. And I'd hate to see the Department of Transport become reactive if something, a disastrous occurred. And I hope that doesn't happen, but they could have at least put measures in to ensure that that risk was cut even further. So thank you. Councillor Potter,
Thanks,
seconder.
yes, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, a number of people in Colac have been waiting for Hungry Jack's to arrive, and if councillors support this, we can say that they're going to arrive. We did have some objections, some of which were on healthy eating grounds. The Shire statistics show has a below state average consumption of vegetables and so forth, and I think we had a submitter who said the advertising for Hungry Jack's doesn't say the salads are better at Hungry Jack's. So I take that point, but councils are obliged to vote on this applying the planning rules, and as the Mayor just pointed out, this does comply and ticks all the planning boxes. So I'll be supporting this motion and therefore approving Hungry Jack's if majority of councillors do so. I think it is quite proper to raise the community concerns about the traffic movements and councillor concerns. The survey some years ago in relation to traffic lights was a strong call. We've had the experts down. I thank Department of Transport and Planning for coming down and meeting with councillors, albeit we didn't get the result perhaps that we wanted, but at least they did take the time to come down and have a look at the intersection with councillors. There's some parking issues, and local businesses lost a couple of parking spots. That's unfortunate. It's a busy part of the street, but councils, I support this motion, and I hope we get on board.
Thanks, Councillor Potter. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Duke.
Just to follow on from Councillor Potter, there was quite a few submitters talking about the health and positive health outcomes for our community being so low in Victoria. But I hope that in our health and wellbeing action plan, we'll have more power to create positive change in that avenue. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Duke. Any other councillor? No? We have the motion before us. Part A we'll now put to a vote. Just to double check the councillors, ensure we're just putting this vote on Part A. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Duke, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Part A is carried 6-0. Now Part B of the motion we'll now put to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Duke, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Part B is carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to item 4.2. Planning permit for 10 Burton's Lane, Barongarook, use and development of a dwelling. We have questions of officers. No questions? No, we have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard. To be seconded. Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. A straightforward one, I believe. The officers have done a good report on this one, and yeah, I'll be supporting it.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard. No. Any other councillor? No. We'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Duke, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm is carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. That concludes our Planning Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. I declare this meeting closed at 1:15 p.m. Thank you.